So I've put together this tutorial almost as a sequel to the one I did before, just to show how easy it is to do some of these beach landscapes. So I've imagined this scene, haven't looked at any references here, and you don't have to follow exactly how I've done it. Just go through, look at some reference pictures if you'd like, or just do it from memory. Wet that top area where the sky is completely, and now I'm dropping in just some pure blue. So the mixture of blue is probably 50% water, 50% blue, and now I'm going in with a bit of grey, and the grey is just from the primaries that I've mixed together: yellow ochre, red, and the blue. And I'm just making the clouds smaller near the horizon line and adding some darker areas in the clouds. This is really important to do when the paper is still wet. You get these nice soft cloud effects. Can also do the clouds with some sharp edges as well once the page is dried. I haven't done it in this video, but I can go through that in the next one. In the horizon line, I'm just adding in now some yellow ochre, medium mix of yellow ochre, and let that touch the sky area just to let it mix in, but I've brought it down into the midground. And here I'm just mixing in a bit of greyish blue and cutting around these figures because I want to keep the white of the paper there, so then I can go over with some other colors. And I'm just bringing down the blue and allowing it to mix with the yellow for the sand, and just touching it in areas to let it mix naturally. Very important to get this all done in one go. Once the paper's dry, you can get some different looking effects, some sharper effects. So added in some darker blue to the left side of the painting as well, and I'm just mixing that in again with some yellow, dropping in a bit of yellow to the water too, and letting it mix. Adding in some little waves and textures. And I've dropped in a bit of that grey to the sand. So I'm just drying it off now completely. So this is your first wash, okay, and most of the work should be done in this first wash. And the second wash, now I'm going through and I'm cutting around the little buildings that I've drawn into the land in the background, so also indicating just some branches and leaves coming up through the top, and remembering to cut around some of those little roofs as well, just to indicate the sunlight bouncing off them. And I'm using a mixture of green here, which I've mixed from the yellow ochre and ultramarine blue, and a bit of grey as well. And it's also really good to drop in some of these other colours, these darker colours near the bottoms and just in certain areas as well while the paper's still wet. And I'm also just doing this umbrella, making that a very light red. Now mixed up a thicker grey, and I've gone in and just quickly drawn in this jetty with the thin number 6 brush, I think it is, number 6 round brush, but if you've got any pointed brush, that will work. Don't spend too much time on that, just get it in quickly to indicate. And now it's time for the figures, so I'm just adding in different lighter mixes of yellow, bit of red, bit of grey, not really spending too much time on the details. Just wanting to get this in as loosely as possible here. So I finally figured out how to use my standalone camera to start recording these videos and tutorials. I was having a lot of issues using my phone and my other camera before, just in terms of the quality, exposure was giving me a lot of hassles, and I think this is going to be a bit of a game changer. It's been a lot easier recording and editing the footage. A lot better quality and just less issues in terms of errors and things that come up on my phone when I record for too long, so that's good news. I'm just doing all the figures and making them a bit more detailed. And when you're going through and drawing in the preliminary sketch, try just different figures walking around, maybe in motion. You know, you could do people sitting along the beach, you can do maybe someone fishing. That just gives you a chance to practice figures in different types of motions as well. And I always recommend that if you have a sketchbook or just loose bits of paper, practice in those. It's gonna, you know, every time you keep repeating and doing it again, it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so we're almost at the end now. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please share it with your friends. Also comment, leave some suggestions below. I'm always interested to hear just what people think, seeing as I'm still new to this. And also remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content and would like to support me. Thanks for watching.